Good evening, everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez and I am a filmmaker and a film critic, and boy have I been waiting for this one. This is the movie review of the Christopher Nolan movie, Dunkirk.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
Yeah, if you haven't heard of the name Christopher Nolan, that guy's pretty good. This movie is not just a game changer, it is also a genre changer. It is a war film that takes place during World War II at the height of Hitler's powers, and it focuses on the evacuation of 400,000 men stranded at Dunkirk Beach in France. This is one of the best films of the year, and it ranks up there very high when it comes to talking about the best war films ever made, and it is also a top 15 or top 20 action film. This is also Christopher Nolan's most mature film. He spent a lot of time writing it, and it shows. This is also a rather experimental film, and experimental translates into ballsy. This is not a film about characters, it's all focused around a central event. I barely remember the names of the characters in the film, as they're not spoken of in the film itself as well. The film is told through three perspectives: land, sea, and air. Christopher Nolan has a hard-on when it comes to the fractured narrative. He loves telling stories out of order. Look at Memento, look at Inception, look at The Prestige, look at Interstellar. All of them have some sort of time manipulation going on. And Hans Zimmer, the excellent composer that he is, realizes this. There are ticks of the clock in almost every track in Dunkirk. And this all started from Inception. We would hear the ticks of the clock slow down in Inception when it comes to syncing with the kick. In Interstellar, there were ticks of the clock on the track Mountains, indicating all the time they're spending, which would convert into human years. And over here, we have the tick of the clock again throughout the entire score. So yeah, the story is told out of order, and that's the only gripe I have. Why tell this story, which is a pretty straightforward story, in this order? Why not tell it conventionally? You know, follow it one way instead of moving back and forth. I mean, it doesn't really hurt the film, but the switching and the connections of the characters aren't as fluid as they are in Nolan's previous films. The other gripe I had is that this film should have been rated R. There were a bunch of things which kind of annoyed me, which were explosions. These explosions, they didn't blow up anyone. The body just went flying when a bomb fell on the dude. That guy's supposed to be blown into bits. Why was this not rated R? Again, doesn't really hurt the film, but could have benefited. But that's about it. Everything else in this film is worth dying for. This film is told through the perspective of soldiers, and only soldiers. You can argue that Mark Rylance's character, I believe his name was Dr. Watson, is not a soldier, but he is playing a role of a soldier when he goes out to rescue people. The film is an hour and 59 minutes of just pure action. As I said earlier, this is his most mature film emotionally. Christopher Nolan's filmography before Interstellar, sure, it was engaging, but it wasn't emotionally engaging or investing, in my opinion. The Dark Knight trilogy was very sterile, especially The Dark Knight. Don't tell me any of you gave a shit or shed a tear when Rachel dies. And even at times Inception, I feel like that the score of the film is pushing your emotions rather than the characters of the film. But when it came to Interstellar, and now in Dunkirk, he's turned it around, man. Dunkirk manages to cram so much emotion in the film because every character is equal and has the same goal. The movie is purely about the event. It really puts you in their shoes as the unpredictability of war is shown. This movie is a perfect representation of the snowball effect when it comes to talking about war. And the greatest director and music composer partnership since Spielberg and John Williams continues, with Hans Zimmer returning to do the score of Dunkirk. I already talked about how the tick of the clock plays a big part in the score of this film. My personal favorite track, however, has to be named Supermarine, which was played during the incredible dogfights. It is adrenaline exemplified. Another great aspect of the score is how they incorporate sound effects into the score, such as when the Spitfire planes are approaching. They're coming ever so slowly, and then it morphs into the next piece of music. It's all very well done. There's some great acting by everyone involved, but the real centerpiece centerpieces of this film would have to be the older cast, especially Mark Rylance, who won an Oscar for Bridge of Spies 2 years ago. Kenneth Branagh is also in this movie, and Cillian Murphy. The seniors of this film really kind of steal the show for me when it comes to the scene stealers. There's a fantastic sequence, and we're getting into spoiler territory, so feel free to skip to this time code for my final rating. There's the sequence where this kid who's on Mark Rylance's boat when they go to save these people, he dies by Cillian Murphy's hand. Cillian Murphy comes up and asks him, hey, is the kid okay? But what's great about that scene is they decide not to tell him because Cillian Murphy's character is suffering from PTSD after being blown out of the water. You can see it in their eyes that they're angry and they're sad at the same time, but they decide not to give this news to that soldier who has PTSD because it would make it even worse. You're basically telling him, listen, you made a shitty situation shittier. Fantastic scene. And it's very similar to that scene in Interstellar when the astronauts find out that Michael Caine was lying about the whole thing. Matthew McConaughey's eyes in that sequence are so friggin' emotive. And the same goes for here. Nolan gets the best out of everyone, man. You gotta understand that staring at things blankly at times can be very powerful, but it's the way they morph into other emotions while still staring is what makes the scene and the staring blankly powerful. One of those set scenes is involving Kenneth Branagh. He's hearing the Spitfire planes coming ever so slowly. He hears them and then he's looking for them up in the sky. And as he sees them, he closes his eyes. It just captures his dread. You feel that he feels it's over. It's the end now. Kenneth Branagh shines throughout the whole movie, but it's in that one scene. He totally nails it. Hoyt van Hoytema, cinematographer of films such as Her, Spectre, and Interstellar, shoots this film as well. His brilliant cinematography makes excellent use of negative space. They purposefully leave sections empty in the frame to imply dread, isolation, and the unpredictability of war. I also love the way this film looks. There's not much to talk about it, but transitionally there is. This film is full of two predominant colors, which are blue and black. You never see yellow, you never see green. Those are bright, vibrant colors. The blues and blacks are sort of desaturated as well. You never see the sunshine in this film until the very end when the soldiers are safe. It's a nice little touch to tell the story visually as well. I friggin' loved this movie, and like Logan earlier this year, this film wasn't a film to me. It was an experience. I said that Logan was the best movie-going experience I had in the past half a decade, while Dunkirk has also joined that list as well. 5 out of 5 for Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk. This is the definitive war movie of the 2010s era. It is more Black Hawk Down than Saving Private Ryan. I don't know how you're going to react to that information, but in my case, I reacted fantastically because Black Hawk Down is my favorite war movie of all time. Thank you so much for watching this video, people. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Can we shoot for 35 likes? I know you guys can give those likes to me. 35 thumbs up, come on. If you really enjoyed this video and you're new here, hit that free subscribe button. It costs you nothing to subscribe and enjoy my free, great content hopefully I'm giving you. And if you want to get in touch with me, I have a Twitter, Rameez Film Geek. If you want to see my photography work, check out my Instagram, Rameez Camera Raw. I'm going to make a lower third for that in a while. And if you want to get like really personal with me, wink wink ladies, if you want to send me some nudes, some spicy nudes, add me on Snapchat. It's also Rameez Film Geek. No dudes, by the way. Until next time, people, thank you so much for watching, and remember to love yourselves.